take some action, folks. If you find the education you're looking for, take some action towards bringing that education to a reality. Make a plan.
I'm Junaid Ahmed, host of Hacks and Hobbies podcast and a digital presence advisor at HumbleZone. This episode is brought to you by Home Studio Mastery. I launched a consultation and course program to help podcasters and course creators to create a space in their homes that'll reduce the friction of creating content and appearing their best when showing up on camera. The pandemic gave us a lot of issues, but this one is here to stay. We're now so much closer to our audience thanks to video becoming more popular and affordable. I help guide folks who want to create Hollywood-worthy studios to not only capture great content, but also build more confidence, more authority, and be more comfortable in front of the camera. If I can do it, you can too. And with my help, you can do it faster. So if you'd like to learn more, visit homestudiomastery.com and how you too can create a home studio that brings out your personality, professionalism, and possibilities. Thank you for tuning in to Hacks and Hobbies with your host, Junaid. We're visited by our amazing guests coming from all walks of life who want to learn their story, their struggles, and their journey on how they got to where they are today. So stick around. Today we have the pleasure of speaking with Martelli Adeka, a family man and a financial consultant. Based in Coral Springs, Florida, Martelli and his team at Kaizen Family Financial Consultants are dedicated to helping their clients plan for the future with proper insurance and financial planning. With his love for people and his passion for building relationships, Martelli is sure to provide us with valuable insights on how to plan for financial future. So join us as we learn from Martelli's personal and professional experiences. In this episode, I get to speak with Martelli Adeka. Tell me, Martelli, if I got your name right.
You got it right, brother.
Awesome. Well, I'm so honored and excited to have you here. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. The honor is mine. I'm really excited to be here and really happy to share with your audience and to, gain as much experience as you're such an experienced host.
People ask me, who's your audience when I asked them to come to their podcast, and I'm going to be selfish, and I'm going to tell you that I am my audience. I am here to learn from my guests and really learn on what it takes to tell a story, what it takes to go from zero to hero. And podcast has helped me. I wrote something down yesterday. What was it? It was podcast made me the storyteller that I was not. Right? Because I'm listening to these stories, and what happens when you listen to a lot of the same thing, you start becoming that person. You start telling the stories and really bring your own flavor to it, your own recipe to how you tell your own story. And the more you do it, the better you get at it. So I've been really honored to be able to provide this platform for my guests and learn from them and share their journey with my audience.
And I think that's a great way of putting it. It's really, there's a masterful approach to that. By repeating and repeating, we create some really good habit that develop a character, which then get us to where we are. And I think you've said it wonderfully.
Thank you so much, Martelli. All right, so just to get started, I want the people, they've already heard the intro that I record before the episode, but I want to hear from Martelli. Where'd you get started? Let's walk through memory lane, rediscover your origin story, because we know the journey is long. You mentioned that you have 2 kids. I have 4 kids. It's a long journey, but we take these step by step and we build on top of each other. So let's get started. How did you get started?
Thank you. That's a very loaded question for me specifically. And if I had to go back all the way, I remember just as soon as I was conscious, I was always curious.
Mm.
And one of the things that I enjoyed the most was listening to other people's story and try to gain wisdom from it. And that led me to not repeat a certain pattern in life. Like if I knew this person say, "Hey, I did this, it didn't work out for me," I want to stay as far away from it as possible. So the as a child, I was always building things, whether it was gardening, whether it was construction, whether it was playing with a certain toy, tinkering with the stuff. And around 13 years old, from a business standpoint, that's really when the entrepreneur journey started for me.
Mm.
I was living in Haiti. I was born and raised in Haiti. I was living there, and where we stayed, there was no electricity. And at night, you start butting into that teen age. You want to go out with your friends, go to the movies. The
Yeah,
movies in town were about 3, 4 miles away, but
sure.
it's when you go, it's the evening. When you come back, it's pitch black. There's no electricity, no light. Again, for that part of the world, it's normal. You don't really feel a difference like, oh, hey, I want electricity. Electricity
Yeah.
is the outlier. And for every time I go to the movies, if it rains, if something happens, it's so dark you don't know, you don't really have flashlights type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And one day I had an epiphany. I said, wait a minute, I kind of have almost everything I need. I have a TV set, I have a little generator. I could potentially use a room in my home. Why did I create my own movie theater?
Yeah.
And it's late in the night. I wake up with that, and I couldn't go back to sleep. I was fired up, and I decided early in the morning, crack of dawn, I wake up. I started looking at, okay, what are the resources that I have? What can I do to make this dream a reality?
Mm-hmm.
And I started working on it right away. Then my older brother was like, "What are you doing? You're always up to something." I'm like, "Dude, I'm gonna build a movie theater, and here's what it is. Here's what's gonna do. Here's what is like. What? No, you're not." I said, "What do you mean I'm not?" He's At this point, he's 21 years old. I'm
Yeah.
13. He's like, "You're not." I said, "Nah, brother. I am going to build that movie theater.
Yeah.
And even if you're gonna stop me, I suggest you don't, because no, nothing can stop me. I'm gonna build this."
Yeah.
And I had this tendency where if you resist me, you're giving me more power to do something. So I charged with that dream, started building it. The original location that I wanted was a big room in my own home. They were like,
Mm-hmm.
no. So I went
Right.
outside, started building a structure. I
Okay.
built the structure from the ground up. At this point, we're speaking of there's a 2 months time elapsing. It was summer. I was able to get a lot of things done, but
Mm.
what I didn't know was how much really goes into building a major structure. Um,
Yeah.
we had to secure it, making sure that if a hurricane comes, it wasn't going to blow away, and it can sustain everything. And I was keep falling short of material. But one thing that I learned, and looking at it in hindsight, was every time I was short something, somehow, some way, I end up getting it. There were people who were for it, like, "Hey, Martelli, this is a fantastic idea. Continue to build this movie theater." There were people who were against it.
Mm.
But at that point, I was only listening to the people who were for it. If you're against it, I don't want to hear from you. I don't care.
Exactly.
If you're here, none of my business. I'm building this thing. And I realized I was short a lot of things, but I started, and somehow, some way, people chipping in, giving me this, giving me that. I end up completed the actual structure. And one day, suddenly, we finished everything ready. We
Mm.
tested everything. I run the lights, all the stuff, and all the doubts flow. And I was like, "Martelli, you stupid man. You're gonna be the biggest laughing stock of the town, because something is definitely wrong with you to think you can pull this off." And
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Well, the idea is the people that's coming down to go to the movie theater don't have to go through, the darkness, this and this and that. It's a
Sure.
shorter distance for them to travel. and this is more convenient for them and so on. And I'm not really taking business out of the other people's hand.
Right.
So this is how I thought. But day one, I really was crushed with fear. I was petrified in the sense of like nobody's gonna show up to this.
Mm.
And it's a small town, so the word's gonna travel fast. But anyway, I said, you know what? I'm going to put this for free. I listed the movie for free, and the night of the movie, I didn't have enough seat to put people. I was shocked. I said, okay. The second day, same thing. The third day, I
Mm.
started charging, and the rest was the history we can go into. But to stay on the question, that's really where I got started. I was
Mm.
shocked. The stuff that I learned over the time, over the course of starting building that movie theater, running it, I couldn't learn it in a 4 year college degree.
No, that's amazing, right? We have all the power, all the things that we need to create our future. We're just told otherwise because other people don't believe in themselves. They push that belief onto us that this cannot be done because they don't believe in themselves. So it's amazing that you were able to create a movie theater because it was something that you were facing. You wanted to solve a problem. You didn't want to be walking in the dark. You wanted the convenience that it provided you. So good on you, brother. That's amazing.
Thank you. It was very fortunate. I'm really thankful that I was able to push through it. And but the training really started from when I was a child, always
Mm-hmm.
really tinkering with stuff, doing things. Over time, those little small things build up to make you think, okay, you can really pull this huge
Yeah.
things off.
Yeah.
And yeah, man.
I love that story. The other thing that I saw in there was that when you mentioned you're saying no to the naysayer. You're saying telling them, "Thank you for your opinion, but I know what I'm doing." Right? I know what I'm doing. Thank you for an opinion. I got this. And it's funny. I had posted a similar post like that a few days ago on my own. I know what I'm doing. Thank you. Thank you for telling me what you think, but I know what's up. So that's really powerful. The number two thing that I saw was you were somebody who's determined to make this a reality. And 2 months is a long time for somebody who's how old were you? 15 years old?
13.
13. 13. Okay. For somebody who's 13 years old, getting all this naysay and putting in the work to design something that brings joy to other people, brings convenience to other people, is really remarkable. There's a story I was introduced to. This is on Apple TV. There's a show called Stillwater. It's a panda bear, but he's talking to kids. So this one kid is like, "Hey, I want to create a rocket ship, and this rocket ship is going to take me to the moon." And his brother is like, "No, you can't ever do that. That's impossible. This is not going to go anywhere." And then his sister's like, "Yeah, I don't know if this thing is going to fly." So now he's sad. He comes to Stillwater. Stillwater tells him, "Let me tell you a story. There was this man, he worked in the field, and day in, day out, from sunrise to sunset, he would work the field. And he wished, I wish I had one additional hour to spend with the sun, but I didn't have that. How can I make that happen?" So he's like, "I'm gonna build a tower to get to the sun." People are like, "You're smart, but that can never happen. It's impossible. You can't do it." He's like, "Sure, I can't do it." But he continued on and he created this tower of bamboo sticks and he's tying them together. And people will watch him and like, this is never going to happen. He's looking and he's doubting himself. Can I really do this? Is it really going to happen? And it reminded me, when you were telling your story and you having that doubt on opening day, it reminded me of the story. But then toward the end, he's so up high on that tower that even though it's dark down where everybody else is, he could still see the sun because he's looking at the sun over the mountaintops, over the trees. He could still see the sun. And he's like, "I got you, son." Because he now has one additional hour or 30 additional minutes to spend with the son. So in his mind, he made it a reality what he dreamt of. And that's what you did. So thank you so much.
Thank you for sharing that.
What kept you motivated while you were building this movie theater?
Uh, First of all, some of the things were there's two sides to it. One is because I had made all the promises to the kids my age, my peers,
Mm,
that hey, when this movie theater finished, I'm gonna let you come to the movie for free because you helped me. I didn't have money to pay them, but you helped
yeah,
me. And I kind of was accountable for that. And I would not just left, be I would not just be the only person to be disappointed, but now I
right.
have all of them disappointed. Number two, I was truly excited by the idea
Mm,
of being able to help the community or the people around me. Like, wait a minute, dude, if you do this, I think that is fantastic.
yeah,
And those things kept me going, and those things really kept me going. And of course, there is faith to it, and
yeah.
you just have to be crazy at some point.
Well, when you're crazy enough, you just might change the world. And guess what? You did
Steve
with that
Jobs, yes,
story,
sir.
right? Thanks, man. That goes back to the power of accountability, right? You saw, hey, I'm accountable to these kids that I promised. I got to make this happen. Got to make this happen. And you did. So thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Let's fast forward a little bit. What are you working on today? What's coming up for you? Where you're heading in the future?
Sure. So today it's been a little over a year and a half that we started a company called Kaizen Family Financial Consultants,
Mm-hmm.
where it's an insurance agency. We approach insurance and financial planning from a holistic perspective to help. The way that I like to think about it is we are combating poverty one
Mm.
family at a time. That's the vision or the mission, one
Sure.
of the statements, right? And the way we do that is just bringing education, financial literacy to the client, empowering the clients that we fortunate enough to sit down with
Yeah.
and empower them to make their own decision and telling them good, truthful information, which is something that I feel is lack or was
Mm-hmm.
lacking in the field. And again, I want to do something different about that. And there is some deeper story behind it we
Mm-hmm.
can go into if we have the time.
No, absolutely. We have the time because the beautiful part about what you mentioned here, there is a lack. There's a huge lack of this information available to the schools. They don't teach you about financial planning. They don't teach you how money is made. They don't teach you how you can save it and store it. The first experience any kid has going out of high school to college is these banks handing off these credit cards. Like, here's $5,000 they can use. Like, what? Free money? Now, I know that's changed a lot in the past few years because, parents are more aware and awake about what's going on and how, training their kids better. But the majority of the public is not taught about financial education. They're not taught about all the different ways you could maximize and be efficient with the money you're able to spend. So that's really beautiful that you're bringing this education to your community and to the people around you.
Thank you. And what it started out of a painful experience.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't start out wanting to learn about finance.
Sure.
It was more so, I want to say forced to learn it because I had some bad habit. I was really just a spender and nothing wrong with spending money. It's a good thing. It brings you some sort of emotional satisfaction. Again, nothing wrong with that, but it has to be balanced. I'm reminded of one of the guy I learned from was a Japanese guy who he taught money EQ and for
Robert
his
Kiyosaki.
no, not Robert, another
It's not
guy.
Kiyosaki? Okay.
It talks about money EQ, emotional quotient about money.
Okay, okay.
And in those, there are four characters: the spender, the saver, the thrift person who doesn't spend a dime, and you have the frugal person and all. But you have to be all four. You have to be in balance. It's good to
Mm-hmm.
spend, it's good to make money, it's good to save money, it's good to really, really invest money.
Mm-hmm.
But I think one other thing that is lacking is to understand the emotion about money. And some of us like completely disregard it, like I don't need money, I want to be a hermit, the type of things
Sure.
like that. But if you are living here, you really need the coin of this realm to function. And I've learned it the hard way, rather.
Yeah. Now you're absolutely right. We do need to understand it better so that not only are we smarter about it, but also when you are in balance with yourself, guess what you can do? You can help others live a better life,
Of course.
have another meal, teach them how to be better at it. So I'm really excited to see where you know, how many people, how many more people you're helping every single day. It's amazing.
Thank you. And we have a big goal, and some degree very audacious goal.
Yeah.
However, when we do reach that goal, achieve success with that, we'll feel very good because we would have helped lots of people. I would know for sure,
Yeah.
on my part, that a lot of family will be set, and that will give me great satisfaction.
I love that. Something that Zig Ziglar says is you can get everything you want in life if you will just help enough other people get
Get
what
what
they
they want.
want. And I keep it on my wall because I want that reminder. All I'm doing is helping others, show up with their true potential, with who they are. Because a lot of us don't have that encouragement on a daily basis. We're not encouraged. Our mind is on a continuous journey to go to zero. It's always like, okay, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad. It's only when you have positive attitude around us are we able to escape that what's that called escape that mindset.
Right.
Yeah.
And I would say yes, and sometimes too, it takes some very difficult situation
Mm-hmm.
to escape that mindset, and
Yes.
that's may not always be the good thing. And if we want to go to a very extreme example that we've seen would be
Mm-hmm.
Viktor Frankl from
Yeah.
surviving the Holocaust, and
Mm-hmm.
reaching that point where you truly find freedom
Yeah.
of between, hey, your response to whatever's going on around you is how you can achieve freedom. And we don't have to go there,
Right.
but it really can come from both ways, to the very both end of the spectrum. If you have a lot of positive things around you and your heart is primed for change, you will change.
Yeah.
Or if you have an extremely negative situation around you and your heart also desire to change, you have a potential and possibility of changing as well.
Exactly. Man, I love this. Ted, we've had a really amazing conversation. Thank you for sharing your story, your journey, how you got started. Your mindset is powerful. We spoke a little about our in the green room. We talked about how both of us are beekeepers. You just discovered that today or a few days ago
Yeah,
that I myself is a beekeeper. In fact, the first episode of this podcast is titled Queen Bee.
right.
Um, you also mentioned that you recently harvested 2 gallons of your own locally produced honey, which is so amazing.
Thank you, thank you. Yes, the we can go into the bee stories. I will just share quickly with our
Of
audience
course.
how I got started in this. I knew nothing about beekeeping.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really know. I know bees made honey, but didn't know how it was made or anything like that. It was one day. some bees came to we discovered there were bees in an old garbage can that we don't use,
Mm-hmm.
and reached out to one of my guy, and he said, "Oh, you have bees?" I said, "I see bees around." He said, "If you see bees around, that means you have bees there
Mm-hmm.
somewhere." He came over, he checked for me, and he says, "You have bees." I said, "What? What does that mean? I have bees?" Okay, it's saying
Tell
it
me
like
more.
it's saying it like I have a problem, I have a
Yeah.
major issue.
Yeah.
I said, "Okay, what's going on?" It says, "All right, you may have to deal with um the the exterminator guys and those people that can exterminate it for you." I said, "What do you mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
kill them?" He says, "Yes, because if not, they will become an issue." I said, "Those are the same ones that makes honey?" He
Yeah.
says, "Yes." I said, "No, you're not killing those things, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely not." He said, "What are you gonna do with them?" I said, "I don't know yet, but they're not gonna be killed. Something else gonna be,
Yeah.
they're going to do something else." I search and research and find out. I call the people around and I find out the beekeeping association. I call them and they say, "What do you want to do?" I said, "I don't know what I'm doing. I need somebody to either help me, but I would want to keep them. I just don't know what to do at all.
Right.
I don't know anything."
Yeah.
Thankfully, one of them came out. They show me what to do. They show me how to do this thing. Give me some basic runaway. Take them out of the garbage can. Put them in a box. I bought all the supplies,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, okay, so what's next?
Got me some bees.
And I ended up finding a mentor. I'm very grateful for him.
Yeah.
He's been in beekeeping for over 40 years,
Mm-hmm.
and he started teaching me what to do and what to do and what to do. And I really fell in love with the process. And the way he does his is very renegade. He doesn't put any
He doesn't give them sugar water. He just if
nothing,
they
just
they
purely
go and get.
natural.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I said I wanted to do that, and he showed me a system where you put the deep, what's called the bigger box. Well, for
Yep.
the audience who doesn't know this, we
Mm-hmm.
just let's use boxes. We put the first box, they grow. We put a second box, they grow, and we put a third box with a queen excluder in
Mm-hmm.
between it, and that starts producing honey.
Yeah.
And when it does, all you do, it takes a while to build to that level. It may take
Yeah.
you a year, but once you build to that level, all you do is just take away the top box, the shallow, or
Yes.
and it just keep collecting honey, keep
That's where
collecting
you're
honey.
collecting the
It's a
honey.
system that you create that
Yeah.
really works well. It doesn't disrupt the bees. And the rest is just really interesting, man. Love this
Yeah.
whole thing.
No, that's a really awesome story. What's funny is that my dad, back in Corona, we have a little garden,
Mhm.
and he found bees. There was bees in the backyard, and they're basically housed inside the hollow of the brick. So there's a
Wow.
little retaining wall in front of our fig tree, and in that hole there's bees living. And my dad was like, "I'm gonna take care of these." So he lifts the top lid, and of course the bees that start attacking him. So he drops the thing. He runs. My dad's in his almost 80. He runs to the garage. He got bit. He got stung all over his face. It was pretty insane. And my brother and my brother-in-law were like, "What are you doing, Dad? Don't do that. Those are bees." It's like, "No, I'm gonna get him out." So then he tells me, I hear the whole story. So I was visiting California a month ago, and so my dad called me. He's like, "Yes, I know. Hey, Jeanette, I know you're a beekeeper. Bring some gear so we can keep the bees. I don't want to let it go." I'm like, "All right." I wasn't sure how big that hive was going to be. It's a really small hollow. Looked in there, it was very small. So what I did is I ordered some gear and had it shipped to Corona, where my dad lives, and I suited up and I took the bees out and I put them in the box. But what I didn't have the proper equipment to take those frames and put them properly inside the frames.
Right.
And somehow I probably missed the queen. The queen probably got away.
Mm,
Not sure what
mm.
happened. So, anyways, I put the bees in the box, and I was like, all right, they're transferred. They should be good. Next day we come, no bees. They evacuated, and there were ants getting to the honey. I'm like, oh no, this is so sad. So we weren't able to. We didn't. You got to find the queen bee, and that's where your mentor probably helped you to find the queen, because once you find the queen bee, then the hive stays together.
Absolutely.
All right, man. Let's take a quick break, and when we get back, you can share 3 hacks to take away for the audience. I'm Junaid Ahmed, host of Hacks and Hobbies podcast and a digital presence advisor at HumbleZone. This episode is brought to you by Home Studio Mastery. I launched a consultation and course program to help podcasters and course creators to create a space in their homes that'll reduce the friction of creating content and appearing their best when showing up on camera. The pandemic gave us a lot of issues, but this one is here to stay. We're now so much closer to our audience thanks to video becoming more popular and affordable. I help guide folks who want to create Hollywood-worthy studios to not only capture great content, but also build more confidence, more authority, and be more comfortable in front of the camera. If I can do it, you can too. And with my help, you can do it faster. So if you'd like to learn more, visit homestudiomastery.com and how you too can create a home studio that brings out your personality, professionalism, and possibilities. Hey guys, welcome back. We've been talking with Martelli Adeka here. Fun fact, we also discovered that both of us are beekeepers. Of course, different circumstances created that beekeeping desire and curiosity for us. This man who created a movie theater back in his village, he's now a beekeeper. He's out here in the U.S. and he's created an amazing organization that's helping people be better financial planners. I've got my son here. He's waiting to buy his electric bike. He keeps messaging me and telling me, "Hey, only 2 left, only 5 left," but we'll eventually get to that.
I can completely understand. I think we both can understand.
Yes, we can. We absolutely can. So, as you've started this company, as you've started this agency, helping people be more financially capable, and as well as have the mindset of anything is possible, and this is if you have the proper structure. So, Martelli, share with us 3 hacks to take away how your company helps and brings all of this together.
Well, the 3 hacks, first of all, we really love to sit down and educate people about financial literacy. That sounds so simple, but it's so important and essential whenever it comes to financial literacy. First, educate yourself. What do you want exactly? What do you want around your money? Sometimes you may think, okay, I have a problem with spending, but maybe the real problem is you just haven't find some major and interesting goal that you want to save for. If it's something interesting, something so meaningful, you will want to save for it. So really educate yourself on what you want to do. The second hack is take some action, folks. If you find the education you're looking for, take some action towards bringing that education to a reality. Make a plan. And third, once you finish taking some action, implement it. Okay. Those are the most important things. You don't have to have it all together. You don't have to start with something so complex where you need estate planning, you need this, you need that. It's just making sure the liabilities are covered. You take care of your life insurance, making sure that if something happens to you, well, in our modern day, the life insurance will allow you to, take money from the policy to take care of yourself, both term and permanent life insurance. Then you may want to do into what's called accumulation phase, where you start investing money to accumulate for future endeavors, whether it be retirement, buying house, whatever it may be. Then we can proceed to thinking about the next step of legacy planning, passing money to children, succession planning. But just in that short and simple manner, really, that's how you can build a strong financial empire, to where wherever you are, at whatever point you are in life, you can be financially stable. But the most important thing, educate yourself, take some action, and implement it. That's those are the three hacks that I can share with you.
Dude, those are really awesome. Educating ourselves is absolutely the number one thing, right? Just like you found bees in your backyard, like I'm going to educate myself to figure out what it takes to keep the bees and not kill them. So, same thing, if you're having trouble with too much spending, and yes, I am guilty of that, too much spending. My studio can vouch for that.
And
The
we
number
all
one.
have, don't listen, we all have. I have suffered with that, and I've had to go through some really tough learning curves.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm here to really help anyone in those aspects. If I can be of help to you, you
Yeah,
don't even need to become a client. If I can be of help to you, that's the duty that I found very satisfying. And I'm happy to help people along the way with any way that I can do so. Please reach out. Don't hesitate.
I love it. I love it, dude. So yeah, reach out to Martelli. He can help you get better educated, and I'm sure he's got a ton of information on his site that is going to talk about some of these things and what's possible. Let's jump into the last portion of the episode where I like to ask guest questions,
Sure.
which put them on their toes. So, question number one: what is the one hobby that you wish you got into?
Um, I have to say racing. I
Mm,
really wish that I got into racing. Love speed and love things that goes fast. And I wish I took that professionally or even from a hobby standpoint.
mm.
That would have been really fun.
So, what kind of racing? Because there's a lot of different races. You can
I
do
think
motorcycle racing. You can do bike races.
I
You
would
can
say
go
car
on
race,
Formula One. You have NASCAR. You have
Just a simple, race car will start
okay,
for now.
okay,
And, we although I'll say I live very close to Miami.
uh huh,
I'm in a city called Coral Springs, Florida. We're about 30
okay,
minutes away from Miami. And
yeah,
in the stadium that's called the Rock, yeah, yeah, the new stadium that we have,
uh huh.
and it has a Formula One. They did a racing down there.
Oh,
It was really
nice.
interesting. Yeah,
That's so awesome. I love it.
Hard Rock Stadium. The name escaped
Hard
me.
Rock City. Okay.
Mhm.
No, man, and I love racing as well. Maybe someday we'll get to race, right?
Hey,
Maybe go visit the Autobahn in Germany where you
oh,
can
gosh, I would love that.
drive amazing levels of speeds. And here's my number two son
Hey, buddy.
just hiding in here. And that reminds me of the second question. What did you want to be when you were a child?
I always wanted to be a soldier.
Oh,
From
always
as
wanted
long
to be
as I
soldier.
could remember
Yeah,
myself, I always wanted to be a soldier.
love it, man.
And
This
again, it was all about the idea of protecting people,
protecting.
protecting the nation, and
Oh man, that's so
that
cool.
always speaks to my heart, speaks deep to my core being.
I love that, man. That's amazing. Next question. What is your favorite movie or TV show?
It would have to be a TV show. I have a
Mm-hmm.
few, but favorite of all of them is Resurrection Arturo. It's
Okay.
a Turkish TV
Ertugrul.
show. Yeah, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe I'm mispronouncing it, Ertugrul. But
Yeah.
it's one of my favorite TV show ever.
Have you been reading the subtitles?
Yes, obviously. And
All
I'm
right. So
very grateful for whoever translated
whoever
this.
translated that,
Yes,
right?
thank you, thank
My
you.
my entire family has watched every single episode of them. I don't want to get into that because I know those episodes are very long.
Well, the show
And
itself is long, yeah.
right. And then the English reading part, I can't do. I just cannot do. I want to enjoy the whole thing, right? And I know that in Pakistan, so I'm from Pakistan, they've actually taken taken the article show. They work with the Turkish government or whoever, and they've dubbed it in Urdu. So I gotta check that version out. Maybe that's even faster because I understand that language.
Mm.
Because I want to really experience it. Because I think they did some really amazing cinematography in that
Oh
movie
my
in this show.
gosh, man. Listen, if you really want to learn cinematography, just everything, they really took great care. The
Mm-hmm.
sound, the image, the pictures,
Yeah,
everything are well done.
very well done.
Congratulations to them, and seriously,
Yeah,
I am very grateful for that show.
nice, awesome. Next question:
Mhm.
what movie would you choose if you got to play a character in it?
It would have to be, well, it's a book. I think there's a movie being made about it,
Mm-hmm.
but Codename Johnny Walker.
Okay.
It's a
Cody
book
Bennett.
about Iraqi um, national that really went through a lot of things to work with the SEALs
Hmm.
to really support his country, and at that time definitely not understood. It's looked at as the black sheep of the community,
Yeah.
but really love and appreciate the character of that guy, of Johnny Walker. His name has
Yeah.
to be changed, but more so his wife Sayela. The
Oh,
She's the one that really makes everything happen. Love it, and it really inspired me a lot.
that's really awesome, man. Thank you so much. I'm gonna have to check that book out as well. I love
Codename
reading
Johnny
books and
Walker. Yeah.
Codename Johnny Walker. All right, fantastic. Next question: who is your favorite superhero?
Um, hmm. I will simply, I will go and say Black Panther. Really love the movie. Love Chadwick, of course. He
Yes.
did a
Oh my God,
fantastic
he's so
job.
amazing, Chadwick
But
Boseman.
it's more to it. But if I had to pick, I would say certainly Black Panther.
I love it.
Love the humble approach. Sometimes he
It's
doesn't have the
so humble,
suit.
man. It's so
Yeah,
humble,
love
and
that.
it really like the next one that's coming out, Wakanda Forever, is really going to test what they were able to do with from the first one to the second one because we won't have Chadwick. So how they keep the momentum is really
Mm,
going to be questioned. But I think
yes.
there's so much support in the community for what a world that they've created. It's really mind blowing. It's really mind blowing. All right, next and last question. If you were a board game, what would it be?
I would think it would be a combination of a chess and domino.
Chess and domino.
Yeah.
Dude, I think we should make that board game. Why not? Why not, right? There's at least 3,000 new board games being built and invented every day, every month, I think. So
Wow.
I think there's something
3,000?
3,000 new board games every month.
That's incredible.
Um a board let's look at this up real quickly. Board game, chess and domino. Of course, they're gonna give us combination. Well, it's got domino tiles and. But I think if you could put your mind through it, there's a way that you can create a board game that combines the strategies used on both of those games.
I agree. Now,
Let's make it happen.
I'll say just a few comments, and
Sure, of course.
I end up meeting someone who I'm familiar with. A buddy of mine
Hmm.
who happened to stay in the same room with you
Yeah.
at so what's it called? Social Media Fest,
Social
something?
media marketing world.
Yeah. It Mark Savant. Maybe
Mark Savant. Yes,
yeah.
we stayed. No, that was Podfest. We stayed together.
Podfest.
Yeah.
Okay, forgive me.
Yes. No,
Yeah.
you're good. Yeah, he stayed
When I
with
told
me.
him I was going to have a interview with you, he's like,
Mhm.
"Wait, I know who that is. I know Junaid." I was like, "What a small world."
Yeah, it is. It is definitely a small world. We got connected really early in on one of the Podfest meetups, and he's like, "Hey, do you want to share a room?" I was like, "Oh, I already have a room. Let's split it." So that was really fun. We didn't get to chat as much because we both had different agendas, but it was really awesome that we did get to hang out. Like after we're all done, we're just hanging out, talk about different things. So I can't wait to bring him as a guest on the podcast as well. It's gonna be fun.
I'll,
And
I'll, I'll tell him he needs to be on there. Talk about some
yeah,
NFTs.
NFTs, yeah, baby. All right, sweet. Okay. Last question: where can the superpreneurs listening to this episode find you?
Well, we are the KaizenFinancial.com is the name, is our headquarter on the web. The KaizenFinancial.com. Kaizen is spelled KAIZEN. KAI, Z as in zebra, EN, the KaizenFinancial.com. Or feel free to reach out. 954-399-7878 is the number of the agency.
Nice.
Or send us an email, and we are happy to help you reach your goal in any way, shape, or form that I can. And I'll tell you, I don't care where you're starting. The most important is to start. You don't have to have everything. I encourage you to just start.
I love it, man. Thank you so much, Martelli. Appreciate your time, your energy, your wisdom, and the stories and the laughter. I mean, we had a lot of laughs in the episode, and I hope that it translated well to the audience. Thank you guys for sticking around. Thank you, Martelli, for your time.
Junaid, thank you so very much. It was an honor, and I feel like we have so much more to share, man. Really, really appreciate your help, and I'm looking forward to connect with you.
Absolutely. All right, guys, thank you so much for listening. This is Junaid signing off, and we'll catch you in the next episode. Thank you for listening to Hacks and Hobbies. You can find additional information on the guest today on their website, hacksandhobbies.com. Please feel free to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss out on upcoming interviews with amazing guests.